was probably not very
It costs 3 mana, I do believe, and if you could put it on a minion, and if something died, it would get +2/+2. So basically, you would just OTK with it.
Oh,
because
cool.
you would kill a bunch of 1/1s.
If you all didn't know, Envy is a very expert gamer in very many different card games. And, that would be one of them. But here we go.
Swordcraft.
Into the game. DFCLOVER.
First time.
Gets Swordcraft.
Yeah, I find it interesting too because we talked, Envy, a little bit before the stream about what the best classes were, and we picked Swordcraft as one of the top ones.
I think Swordcraft is really, really powerful if they're able to get certain cards, and he actually had one of them in the beginning. I think it's hard to say like a legendary can carry a faction, but Barbarossa is really, really good, by the way. So
Really good.
Yeah,
oh,
repeatable offenders.
Vagabond Frog, right here.
No, come on. Never Vagabond Frog, Rainy.
Always
I've taught you this.
Vagabond Frog. Do you know what the story of the Vagabond Frog is?
I don't want to know the story.
Journeying across the lands with nothing but the bag on his back and a stick to help him in his journey across the different terrains that he...
Yeah, but he's a frog. He doesn't need a bag anyway.
Why?
He took the
Because
Vagabond Frog, by
he
the way.
lives in nature. That's what he's used to.
We used to live in
He took the
nature.
frog. Ooh, that pick
Yeah,
is
I
terrible.
don't use bags.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, jeez. All right.
Are you sure?
I think so. I don't know anymore. I'm really confused.
I think he's been offered 2 frontline generals champions. That's really, really good. Gruff is also really, really strong. We haven't seen that card at all today,
That's
but
right.
Gruff is one of the better cards in Take-Two. So
Yep. A rush card that, if you evolve it, realistically takes out anything your opponent has in play and doesn't take any damage for wear. Yeah, it's really nice.
very, very powerful
Oh,
card.
Gawain.
He's actually seeing a lot of good picks.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Ooh.
it's for Phil.
Gawain.
Ooh, Gawain with Hero of Antiquity, though?
It's,
Wait, that
it's
doesn't work.
for Phil.
Antiquity's
It's
an
for Phil.
officer, isn't it?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But
Yeah, so that's
Gawain-
Nambo. That's Nambo.
That's not... Oh,
That's a
he
non-combo.
went away!
Gawain!
Oh my god.
Yep.
Gawain is
he
alive.
didn't.
The dream is real.
And Trickster picked Portercraft again. Wow. I can't believe... It's so consistently the top pick.
Yeah,
That's definitely a little interesting to
that
me.
says something.
Right, but how many times has it won?
That's why I bring it up. That's why it's very interesting to me, because I think it's certainly strong.
Yeah,
But,
it has to be
well,
strong.
to be fair, there have been 2 cards for Portercraft that have just shut the door, no matter how bleak the situation looked, right? I guess it didn't shut the door last game, but
I mean, it could have.
yeah.
It was on the way to.
Yeah,
if
the
the test of
construct.
strength was
Legacy
played.
is a good
Yeah.
card. It can be. Yeah,
Yeah.
even with a few artifacts stacked, Legacy can be a good card. I think Portalcraft's biggest strength at the moment is their raw consistency. You're going to basically be able to draft just about the same mediocre deck every game. But you're not going to get like those drafts where it's like, man, I have nothing but discard dragon cards and I just can't win. Or it's like,
Right.
man, I misclicked Runecraft and I have nothing but Runecraft cards and I can't win. It's consistently mediocre, right? It's not like ever terrible.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, let's jump into the game and get the winners finals rolling. We'll see if DFCLOVER can continue his streak or if Trickster is going to be the one to
I
make
mean,
it
the
through.
way DFCLOVER's been picking, I mean, he's got to have a good handle on this format. I mean, it's literally just in there. You know
He
what I mean?
knows.
He knows.
He knows something.
Yeah,
You should find out what he knows.
that's
Then
right.
You too
Watch
can
his
be
games. Yeah.
successful at Take-Two. That being said, I think Trickster, I would be very interested to see what he has planned for his Portalcraft list and how he's going to navigate against Sword.
Well, if nothing else, this will be a great examination if you guys check back on the VODs to learn about Take-Two, especially in regards to Portalcraft. Like, how do you draft? What are the cards you want to see? When you see Portalcraft winning, what cards did they use to get there? Like, what was their end game? Like, was it always on the back of Magna Legacy? Was it on the back of Deus Ex Machina? You know, what did they construct, essentially, to win?
Very, very good question. So, we're about to jump into the game, and we're wrapping up the Take-Two tournament fairly soon here. There's only 3 players remaining, and at the end of this match, one will be seated in the grand finals on Winner's End in a very good spot to take it all.
Now, I'm kind of scared for Trickster here. I've played a lot of Swordcraft in Take-Two as well as Portalcraft, and Swordcraft's followers are just really good. Like, they essentially generate the same type of value that Portalcraft does, except they do it in the form of the cards already being in play instead of in your deck. So sometimes it gets really hard to actually come back.
Yeah.
Now, in certain circumstances, though, Flower Princess has been a card that I've really liked. sometimes it's hard to get advantage out of because of the curves, you know, that you get in Take Two being a little heavier. It's hard to get the cards out of your hand, and if you do, you're probably not in the greatest position.
I don't think it was Flower Princess. It's the Flower Doll.
I'm sorry, Flower Doll.
I think it's Flower Doll.
I'm sorry.
The puppet craft version.
Graphics Man.
Flower Princess is yeah. Graphics Man is great. Graphics Man got baited by you, and so
they're always on
you
point,
are about to get kneed after this
Yeah,
broadcast.
I know.
So
That's okay. All right. So DFCLOVER getting out with a nice curve here. This is what I was talking about. Like you just get wide so fast. How do you come back from this? Owlcat was looking to do something, but Romeo to save the day.
Every single card out of DFCLOVER's hand was just so impactful on the early turns. Now you're stuck with the Owlcat not able to hit the target that it really wants to go for, too.
Yep.
You know, and that's such a shame. It can't even push past the ward on its own.
This is what I'm talking about, wards in Take Two specifically. When you have a board that's lined up inappropriately for what your opponent can do, you play a ward down, and it screws up all the math, essentially. So, you know, don't play ward, you know, ward after ward after ward. I mean, sometimes if that's all you have, that can be great. That's not a bad thing. But if you time your wards in very specific ways, especially around the Evo turns, you can get so much advantage out of them that you wouldn't normally be able to get in Constructed, because, you know, in Constructed, they usually have a removal spell always lined up for some kind of a ward, so they can do whatever they want anyway. In Take Two, it's not that simple.
This is looking like a board state that is almost a very ideal outcome of a constructed deck. And TRICKSTER, I don't even know if he has an evolution turn that is as powerful as something. He's going to be able to have the puppet that's going to take down one of the tokens here.
Yep. Has a puppet, has a dimension cut if he chooses to use it this turn to clear more of the board. Might decide to save it for something bigger. It can deal up to 4 damage, so using it on a 2/2 doesn't feel good, but it looks like he wants the board back.
I think there is some world where that makes a lot of sense, especially considering that your opponent has not had card draw and has just been playing cards back to back.
Yep.
So if you were to take the stance of like, okay, if I can at least survive this round of cards, he's not going to have powerful swinging options, right?
Yeah, and as we can see, actually, DFCLOVER's early game looked really strong, but his mid game, up until this Hero of Antiquity, is not looking too spicy.
Spends an evolution orb, one of his 2, and is left with a very weak follower afterwards in terms of defense, which, incidentally, I mean, I don't know. I think you still might be forced into a world where you evolve into it.
Yeah, that's a rough evolve turn right there. If I'm DFCLOVER, I would have considered options of not evolving there. I mean, the follower that TRICKSTER had in play only had 2 defense. Could have gotten a value trade off of the 1/1, but how likely is a person going to trade 4 damage for a 1/1? Not too often. And then, honestly, they'd have to use up a second evolve just to get over your turn. However, if you look at the hand of DFCLOVER, if that Tristan was dealt with without actually taking care of a follower, the board might have just run away immediately. There we go. This is a turn I feel like you could, again, as TRICKSTER, just choose not to evolve, favoring those life points, though.
Yeah. Opts to go for the trade. And we're still trading evolution orbs back to back here. There's Gawain. That's why. That's why you have Gawain.
It is good. Okay, a 6 play point, you know, 4/5 with rush, pretty good.
Ooh.
Okay. Nice little quick blader action. Not necessarily what you want to see right now, but does use that play point effectively.
Goes for some value.
So maybe Quick Blader being saved for a later turn then. Don't want to put that out in front of a Goblin. That doesn't feel very good. And honestly, unless DFCLOVER can draw something good here, I mean, Hero Antiquity's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. But if all the other options that he's got access to are just mediocre like this, I feel like TRICKSTER can come back into this game in a big way.
Yeah. Hero of Antiquity is very tough to defeat without having followers on board in a somewhat Beauty and the Beast-esque fashion.
It's true. Can really just take over a game. It's kind of like Alexander, but much slower, and doesn't actually have to sacrifice himself at the end of it.
I think the power of having Rush in Take Two is so high that he is more favorable. He's in a more favorable situation in Take Two than in Unlimited or Rotation even.
Absolutely. I mean, we did see Hero of Antiquity put in some work and constructed, so
Yeah.
it is alive.
Yeah.
Unlikely, but alive.
It's there.
Yeah, it's there. Especially when paired with Roland. And the words that are coming out of my mouth, I never thought would happen, but we live in the world where Roland has taken down a tournament.
Yes, fantastic work by Sky Summon himself. There, Roland is. The card art is so cool. The question here is, where is DFCLOVER going to employ this evolution orb? On the one hand, I think it is important to make sure that you make it very difficult for your opponent to fight against the board and have to throw in a lot of resources before the antiquity comes down. In doing so, your antiquity becomes something where it's almost unstoppable, right? Because you have to install the followers and then get them to survive on your opponent's next turn, where antiquity can swing either for board space or just trade or just throw into your face.
Yep. And as you can see, whereas in Constructed, playing that Quick Blader on curve might have made sense to get that damage up there when you have Alberts to finish the game and things like that in Take 2, you need to find advantage elsewhere, and DFCLOVER finding advantage that turn, knocking out a 2-1. Very good play.
Nice.
Active Hector in
That
Take 2.
is,
feels good.
The area is coming too.
Oh,
area is so big in Take 2 because it's so hard for your opponent to calculate what exactly is the reach that's going to happen. For example, this could be 13 damage on the next turn if he doesn't deal with the Hector.
Randy, I've just got one question for you. How many games have we seen where a person has area in their deck and has lost the game so far?
I think we've seen area a total of once, and it's won once. So it is currently at 100% win
That's
rate.
right. That's all I'm saying. And, you know, there's another game where Ariat's here to help me prove my point about being the best card in Shadowverse.
Well, we'll see. And Tukey
we
is
still
down
got time.
here. Oh, Gruff.
Okay, that was an insane card to draw.
It won't be able to take down the Antiquity, but it is really going to... I mean, just throw the Gruff plus a follower, right?
Yeah,
Then
it's
you can do it.
literally one of the best cards you can draw in a situation like this, outside of just like some kind of a pure removal spell that doesn't work on Hero of Antiquity. So it might actually be the perfect card to draw here, because you get to use that last evolution orb and not actually get rid of the value. Oh, okay.
So I think he's going to opt to use the evolution orb on a different card to gain value, and then throw the Gruff in to make sure that he's gaining as much card advantage as he can.
This absolutely works.
And he maintains 3 damage to face here, which I guess you value, especially if you have an Ariat.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like if this is the play, he's going to save the Gruff for post-Evos. So, like, basically let DFCLOVER use his last evolution orb, possibly on this Goblin King, and then run into that follower with the Gruff to get basically the last bit of advantage.
That is actually a very smart way to extend your resources as well.
Yeah, I really like the way Trickster's playing this match.
Frontline Cavalier comes out now, and this is probably going to be the evolution target. And that's about it, right? Now DFCLOVER is living on whatever's in hand. He's got Gruff himself. He's got a Fall from Grace.
Definitely has removal options. I mean, has drawn into things that will help him extend the game. Unfortunately, that Hero of Antiquity was the biggest thing that we knew DFCLOVER had, and Trickster, we don't really know what the top end, craziness is yet. We know there's Ariat.
Magna Legacy coming up soon.
All right.
Because that would be insane. You throw the Analyzing in. I think you throw the Analyzing into the whatever, even right now. I guess it's risky to throw it into the Cavalier.
And this is actually a board that does not get hurt by Gruff too much. There are no 5-attack followers in play, so Gruff's not going to get huge advantage here, but will still be a good play. Basically has to take the board back over. That was a really nice turn from DFCLOVER.
Romeo, I'm coming to you.
Has substitution.
And dimension cut. I like this. This basically just says, you had a board, now I have a board. And you have to, like, Goblin Leader is one of those, like, it's so weird. It's not a card that's, like, very assuming or anything like that, but you have to take it off the field. Otherwise, it will just continue to pump out big-nosed goblins. And, any type of advantage in Take 2 is good. We've been talking about it all day. Card advantage is good. You got to take off the engines. You got to take them out.
All right. DFCLOVER figuring out how he wants to play out his resources here.
This might be the first one that goes to, turn 15 plus. They're slugging it out.
I do think that Portalcraft, as the games extend, do have a lot of strength. Not only in terms of just the very basic, I have more cards in my deck than you method, but also just imagine in this top deck situation, things like the Colossal Construct and the Magna Legacy coming down, it's almost just no question that just swings the board in your favor, and you have this huge follower in play.
You know, I think in the wake of Bahamut being gone, cards like Magna Legacy are probably the best endgame cards that you can get, right? Like cards like Israfil, Magna Legacy, like anything that comes down wipes the entire board essentially in the endgame and just leaves this big threat behind is probably where you want to be at. I mean, Zeus is similar, doesn't destroy the board, but essentially it attacks face immediately so it can end the game. On top of it, your opponent probably has to run most of their board in, if not, you know, more than that just to get rid of it.
Dimension cut into Imperial Swordsman.
Very good. We'll start chunking.
Yeah.
And if you notice a lot of boards, guys, out there, if you're like, you know, what's going on with these boards, like how do you know who's got advantage and things like that, honestly, in Take 2, a lot of it post-Evo turns comes down to just literally attack and defense lines. Does your threat or does your board have more defense than your opponent has attack in play, just so that they have to make bad trades on their turn to catch up with you?
Ooh, he's going for a lot of damage here, and I have to imagine he's going to try to swing face as much as he can.
Yeah, this, again, another great swing turn from DFCLOVER. Putting the pressure to TRICKSTER. Ooh.
Will that actually get him out of this scenario, though? He does have Substitution.
Yeah, Substitution alongside of Puppeteer Strings. I mean, that can definitely do a lot of work this turn.
So Puppeteer is going to do 1 to all. That actually makes it quite troublesome. I would imagine Goblin into the Gruff.
Substitution.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, clear most of this away. We're getting down to the wire here. DFCLOVER's basically done everything he can with his hand to basically just swing the entire board in his favor. But TRICKSTER, on the other side of things, keeping pace. Swinging the boards right back.
He's gotten some very strong options, especially off the top as well.
Yeah.
Indeed, a very back-and-forth Take-Two game here.
That's right. I imagine going to take out the 2/3 attack followers.
Puppets continue to show why they're so great.
Why do they sound like frogs?
Yeah. I don't know.
They sound like they're croaking to me.
They do.
Yeah.
They do indeed.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that top deck.
Wow.
Oh,
Here
one
comes
card. Ouch. Oh, that doesn't feel good.
Remember those times where you play Roundtable Assembly and nothing?
No, that never happens, Rainey, because I don't make that play. Okay. Jeez.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being the guy calling that assembly?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Everybody. Please.
Oh, the Ariette.
I really like this play. Again, a way to help, you know, basically just make this board too big to answer. Like, that Arthur was a big board. Not even, just pulling 1/1/1, the 2/6, along with another, you know, just more board presence in general, just hard to deal with, and TRICKSTER basically just out of options now. And a Fall from Grace.
You can also fall from Grace.
Yeah. Still in hand.
I mean, none of your followers actually have the attack to be able to go through the 3 health, 3 defense that is provided by the Fall from Grace.
Yeah, I think honestly you just play super safe here. You just go both of your 2 attack followers on the outside, not Arthur, run into the 1/4 so that Rapunzel can attack on the following turn. But it looks like DFCLOVER is just going to throw it to the fences and say, you deal with me.
Oh! How much
big
damage is on there?
How big is it?
What does it say? 3. It's only 3.
Okay. Okay. That's one of those cards, though.
Can you even clear board?
Can't clear the Arthur, and that's all that matters.
Oh,
and DFCLOVER gonna win this slugfest just by producing boards and never relenting here.
Oh no! What a game from DFCLOVER's end, and it will be won by the hand of Arthur himself.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You know, he called an assembly. Nobody showed up, and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to do it all myself anyway. Yeah.
Wow. What a way for the game to play out here. Swordcraft made it happen. It got a little scrappy at the end. Imagine that scenario with Albert, right?
No. I don't want to imagine that scenario.
Please
Albert's out of our lives, okay? You know, at least in Take 2.
Albert will forever be in our hearts.
About him anymore.